Okay. Okay. Thank you. Now, I'm going to introduce the presenter today. Topic, as you all know, it's a writing analysis. Of course, journal writing is the topic. So when you are writing your journal, you have to analyze. There are two very important parts of your article that show the strength of your thinking, of your thoughts. That's literature review. You have to have a robust literature review. You have to show that you are familiar with the field. So you have to show that in a couple of pages, maybe. And then data analysis writing. But the focus is on analysis. People are interested in your analysis. They see what you have, how you have analyzed, and what you have analyzed, and how you present your findings. So that's your main parts. Your strength is also there. So that's why these two sessions, this session and the forthcoming session, they are quite important. So luckily we have someone who has done work in this field today, Dr. Madhu Nyopani Bastola. Madhuji is well known, so I don't have to introduce her formally, but I will tell you that you all know this. She's one of the academic, senior lecturer at the Department of English Language Education through one university. She is also a postdoctoral scholar at the Hong Kong Polytechnic. Is that the same university, isn't it, Madhuji?
Yes, sir, that's same
university. Yeah, so, yeah, she is a postdoctoral scholar, which is a very, prestigious thing to have, postdoctoral scholarship. And if you have been following her, she's widely published. She had published, I have been following her through her publications since 2010, and there is a long list of publications. So, if you go to Google Scholar, ResearchGate, you will find the list, her list of publications. Some of them are very relevant to what we are doing today. Her research interest, academic reading and writing, and learner autonomy, self-required learning, and supervisory feedback now. So she, she has done her research on supervisory feedback. So supervisors, for example, when you do your research, you have supervisors and they provide feedback. Okay, how useful are they? How much do you take? And what kind of feedback you take, and so on. So very, very interesting work as well. So without further ado, I now present Dr. Madhu Nyopani Bastola. Madhuji.
Yes, thank you so much, sir, for that nice introduction. I'm humbled and honored, and I'm very happy to be part of this workshop, and I'd like to welcome you all. And perhaps you have received the document that we shared 3-4 days, did you?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Did you have time to go through them, any of you? Or no worries if you haven't. So we will be utilizing the same data because this is quantitative analysis. We will be doing some hands-on practices. So later on, if you choose to do some quantitative analysis in your research article, you will have some ideas. So specifically, we will be focusing on, okay, let me share my screen. Is it visible now?
It is now, yes.
Okay. So I want to take it in display mode. Okay. So writing, analysis, interpretation, and discussion, and we are focusing on quantitative analysis today. So in this presentation, we will be focusing on a little bit introduction to quantitative research. You all know what quantitative research is, so we don't need to spend much time on it. And scales of measurements. So scale, sorry, there is something wrong. It should be scale of measurement. So, forgive my typo here. Scales of measurement. I think you have studied, all of you in this research course must have studied these scales of measurement as well. We will be revisiting them because they are relevant to what we are discussing today. And in quantitative analysis, we will be focusing a little bit of survey research and correlational research. For example, what type of descriptive analysis we can do if we are conducting a survey. And the survey also provides us with data to examine correlation between different variables. So we will spend a little bit of time on that as well. Under descriptive statistics, we will focus on measure of central tendency. That means how the data are clustered at the center. So mean, mode, and median. I assume all of us are familiar with these things. And measure of dispersion, how far the data are dispersed. So in this case, we'll be talking about minimum, maximum, range, and standard deviation. So if we are when correlational analysis, if we are conducting correlational analysis, this is one of the analysis that shows that is inferential, that helps us to generalize our finding from sample to population. So for that, there are some assumptions. One of them is normal distribution. So we need to know whether the data is normally distributed or not. So brief concept of normal distribution, and two measures that show whether data are normally distributed or not, skewness and kurtosis. So we will have brief introduction on them, and we'll calculate correlation. So am I audible, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. So quantitative analysis. In quantitative analysis, some forms of statistics, so that may be descriptive statistics or inferential statistics is used. So if our data, if we are conducting quantitative research, so we will have some descriptive statistics or we will have some inferential statistics. So we do not analyze quantitative data without using statistics. So that's why it is necessary. And this type of statistics are used either to describe. So for example, what is the proficiency of learner, or what type of perceptions they have, something like that, to explore. If we do not know much about anything, to explore that and to explain or evaluate a phenomena. This phenomena might be a problems, for example, students' problems in reading, writing, or what their priorities are, for example, what type of learning strategies they use, or what type of digital devices they want to utilize, what their reading abilities are, writing abilities are, or listening abilities, something like that. What attitude do they have regarding English language learning, what feelings and perceptions they have, something like that. Some of these things, I think you might have conducted research on this aspect. And this quantitative analysis, we analyze some statistics, and to describe these things, if these things are related to respondents. Our respondents might be teachers, students, parents, or material developers, curriculum designer, or administrators. So you can have others as well. So in your research, most of you, I went through the folder, either you want to focus on teachers or students. So do you have any other respondents beside that? Are you planning to involve any other respondents? Can you hear me? Hello? So you can write in chat box.
Yeah, please use the chat box to respond to the presenters' questions. So use the chat box, please. Any other categories of respondents?
Okay, so maybe and, no more than that, either teachers or students, because we are mostly concerned with these two categories of respondents. So
policy makers will be included in administrators, right?
yes, so policy makers can also be there. So quantitative analysis now. So I shared one papers, and maybe you didn't have time to go through them. If you went through them, so what kind of information was collected? So survey, so reported, this article was published in 2020. So I have collected information related to learners, students, those were master students, comprehension monitoring. So whether they monitor their comprehension while reading. And next was their self-efficacy, whether they think how capable they think they are in reading, what they feel like, whether they can read something, some kind of articles, academic writing, or something like that. So self-efficacy. And I also collected their information about their reading proficiency. So that was the type of information collected. So if we are conducting our survey, so we can collect that type of information, their perception, their attitude, their abilities. Okay. So questionnaire was used to collect information about their self-efficacy and comprehension monitoring. And this reading test was used to collect their reading abilities. So two different types of tools were used. Informants were students, of course, and the purpose of survey was again to ascertain their reading abilities, to examine some correlation between reading abilities and self-efficacy, reading abilities and comprehension monitoring, and reading abilities in their confidence rating. So those were the things that were that type of information were collected. So I shared the questionnaire with you. So maybe so can you see the, maybe I need to share it again. So this was the, so is my screen visible or just PowerPoint is visible, sir?
I see the PowerPoint, quantitative
Okay,
analysis.
I need to share this again. So just
So
to
maybe, yeah, first of all, you have to
maybe I need to share.
close this PowerPoint document first, and
share. If I share the screen, and that maybe I can share anything, I guess.
yeah. Some of the participants say that they have read your.
Now the document is.
Okay. Yes. So now this was
the document is being sent.
Yeah. So this was the reading comprehension test I administered. So two types of text were selected based on Fry's difficulty level. And in this test, that test contained multiple choice questions, and I asked them to answer the question. And after answering the question, they were also requested to indicate their confidence level. Sometimes while we answer when we answer questions, we feel like, okay, I'm short and I have done it right. And sometimes we feel like so that type of assumption we have, that type of confidence we have. So when we come out of exam hall, we feel like, okay, 10 question so 10, sorry, maybe 7 or 8, I have done well. I know they are 100% accurate, and I'm not sure about 2, something like that. That is confidence. So they were also asked to rate their confidence interval from 0 to 100%. So this 0 indicates not sure at all, and 100% sure. So that type of 2 types of data were collected from this EFL reading comprehension test. So this is one type of information. And next, I also used questionnaire. So this questionnaire was used to measure students' self-efficacy. Self-efficacy refers to our belief in our capabilities. For example, how capable we think on something. In this case, it was about reading comprehension. So whether they think they are capable guessing meaning from context, in making inferences, identify synonyms and something like that. Self-efficacy on different things. So then next was comprehension monitoring. So whether they monitor their comprehension while reading. So while reading, we ask some questions ourselves. While we are reading, we feel like, okay, I don't understand what is this. Then maybe we go backward, we go forward, we check dictionaries, and maybe if someone is there, we can ask them. So that is what we call comprehension monitoring. So this was also asked a 6-point scale. 0% means never do this, 25%, 50%, 75%, and this was the question.
Because you please mute yourself. Okay. Yeah,
so
sorry.
2 research tools were used, and this was a survey research. So we will utilize data from this research, questionnaire and reading comprehension test. So any of you, are you thinking of using quantitative analysis? So I went through the methodology, but that was not very clear. Any of you? You can write in chat box if you are planning to, yes, ask the thank you so much for going through the article. So if you are planning to use a questionnaire or any statistics in your research, please write in the chat box if you are planning to do that. So we can focus on that. So if not, that's fine. So these were the tools that we used, okay? Now let's come to PowerPoint. So what type of information we collect from whom we collect, this is not new thing. And types of measurement. I think all of you are familiar with this type of measurement. So there are 4 types. One is nominal scale. So measurement of differences between entities by assigning them to categories. For example, gender, male, female, or geographical area, rural and urban, and types of school, community, and government aided, something like this. So in statistical analysis, we also need to give them value. So for example, 1 for male and 2 for female, or we can do other way around, 2 for female and 1 for male. So why we call them nominal? Because these numbers do not have value in themselves. We can say 10 for female and 5 for male, no meaning in the number itself. That's why we call them nominal. In quantitative analysis, we need to give them numerical values. For example, if we want to find out frequency, how many were male and how many were female, so we need to give them the value. So here I'd like to show you my SPSS file. It's taking a little bit of time. So here, gender column, can you see it? Is it visible, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's gender, and we need to give value, this value, 1 for male and 2 for female. So this is nominal value, but still we need to assign a numerical value. So this is nominal scale. If we have gender, if we have different types of school and geographical areas, or maybe experience, if we want to categorize our participants in terms of the experience, for example, experience 5 years, 10 to 15 years and something like that. So we give them numerical values, that is called nominal scale. And next one is ordinal scale, measurement in which individuals or objects are ranked. Individuals and objects are rank ordered, oh sorry, it's not necessary. Rank ordered, like strongly agree, somewhat agree, something like that. If we see this questionnaire here, so we can see 0%, 25%, 50%, 75%, 90%. This is rank order. So we cannot say that the interval between 0% and 25% and between 25 and 50% is same, but still they are ranked. So that type of measurement is called ordinal scale. If we are collecting information through questionnaire, we usually have this ordinal scale. So values are ordered, but we cannot say that the distance between these two values is same, or any different values is same. So sorry. So next one is interval scale, measurement which tell how much of a given characteristics is present. The distance between two adjacent points is the same, like students' test score. For example, if we go to this data and see the student, sorry, yeah, this is one male, this is nominal value. And if we go here, students' test score, we can see here, 23, 21, this was out of 100 and out of 60, I guess. So this student got these scores, 21, 23, 17, 15, 16. So this type of measurement is called interval scale. So why? Because the distance between 15 and 16 and 16 and 17 is the same. So equal interval of values is there. So that is called interval scale. So in this data set, we have nominal scale because we have categorized gender in male and female, 1 for male, 2 for female. This is also interval data, interval data, experience, interval data, score, this is interval, and score percent, this is also interval. Then we'll come to this later on. So interval scale, then ratio, but one difference of interval scale with ratio scale is that there is no true zero in this scale. Maybe we don't need to very much worry about this point, but how can we say there is no true zero? Because if a student, for example, in reading comprehension test, does all the question wrongly, we still cannot say that the students doesn't have any reading comprehension. He or she certainly knows something, but he couldn't answer any of the questions correctly. So that's why there is no true zero in this scale. And next one is ratio scale, measurement which has the true zero. So if we are measuring someone's height, if there is zero height, there is nothing. Height, weight, learning experience, something like that. So in our data set, we do not have this ratio scale because we are measuring their reading abilities. We cannot say that they do not know anything, even if they score 0. And we have interval scale because we have examined their perceptions by using ordinal scale. So now, the various types of measurement scale in the sample data, I think we have already identified. So one is nominal scale, and other is experience score and percentage of score. These are interval scale. Now it comes to confidence, monitoring, reading comprehension, and self-efficacy. So can we call them interval scale or ordinal scale? Now that's the question. So now I would like to ask you, any of you, do you have any idea? Hello? Any of you would like to share anything, whether, so now we need to know this measurement scale is that to use any statistical method, the statistics, assumption of a statistic is that most of the cases, we need to have data in interval scale. Then when we collect data through questionnaire like this, it's not just interval scale, but this is ordinal scale. Then the question arises, can we use any statistical tool, for example, correlation, to analyze the data that are obtained by using ordinal scale like this? Would you like to make any comment, any of you?
Yeah, please use the chat box to make your
Yes.
comment. Or you can verbalize if you like.
Yeah, you can. If you want to speak, you can say something.
Good morning, ma'am.
Unmute yourself.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Dinasji.
So I have, this percent that you have mentioned.
Yes.
What does that signify? Is it imaginary, or how you have calculated 25%, 50%?
Oh, yeah. This is just imaginary. This is
Okay.
ordinal scale. Just we guess. हामीले कहिलेकाहीँ objective question मिले जस्तो पनि लाग्छ 50% मलाई यो मिल्न नि सक्छ नमिल्न नि सक्छ भन्छौ नि. So that is just guessing. It is not accurate. That's why we call it ordinal scale. We cannot say that 0%, 25%, exactly 25 भन्ने होइन यो. This is just assumption.
Okay. So I don't have comment, but I have compliment on your articles. I went thoroughly from beginning to end, all the 4 documents, and since it's based on statistical data, and I'm very poor in statistics, something I couldn't take it out. That's one thing. Second thing is that you have studied the very abstract level. I had not imagined that you would go through this, self-monitoring topic also can be studied. Was the idea that I got from, means anything can be researched.
Yes.
That I got that I got from your article.
Yes.
So you have, yeah.
Yeah, there is a lot to research. We feel like sometimes we feel like there is nothing to research. Everything has already been researched, but yes, there is so much to explore.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, Dinasji. So this is okay. So now maybe most of you said like you do not have much, maybe you haven't done this type of analysis. So in this case, if we go to questionnaire itself, 0%, 25%, 50%, 75%, this is ordinal scale. Then the data, if we analyze at just this questionnaire level, just one statement, if we want to analyze, then it will be ordinal data. And in this type of ordinal data set, we cannot use inferential statistics like correlation. But usually what we do is we create scales. By scale, if I show my, so I didn't, maybe we will not go to that. We can do factor analysis as well. What we do is we group similar statements together and we identify the mean of this different statement. For example, if we want to calculate the mean, for example, there are 6 statements, all of them, all the participants indicated 0. That means mean will also be 0. If all of them indicated 25, mean will also be 25, but some 0, some will indicate 25, some will indicate 100%, some 90%. And for each statement, we will calculate the mean. Then when we calculate that mean, so data will come in this manner, right? So 95%, 87.22%, 98%. So when we calculate the average for each statements, I guess you are following me. So the data will be again interval scale. We collected data by using this questionnaire in which the participants provided ordinal information. But again, when we calculate the mean for each statement, for example, statement number 1, participants 1 might have indicated 0%, participants 2 might have indicated 25, then there were 203 participants in this data set. So when we calculate the mean, then we receive this interval scale. So therefore, now when we have this calculation for confidence, calculation for monitoring, and calculation for self-efficacy, we have interval scale, and we can use any type of statistical tool. So because this is a major confusion in statistics, so that's why I wanted to clarify. Do you have any question about that? Okay.
It's not a question, but how can we get the information, statistical information that we can, taking out mean, mode, and this, these all the data that we have brought it out. It really needs a deep study.
Yeah. It requires deep study. So, but at this point, I just want to make it clear that we can have different types of skills. Usually in our education field and language teaching, the type of data we will be collecting either will be categorized in nominal scale, ordinal scale, or interval scale. विद्यार्थीको टेस्ट लियो भने यो इन्टरभलमै हुन्छ. But for questionnaire as well, we can convert the data into interval scale by calculating the mean. अहिले बुझ्नुपर्ने यति मात्रै हो. कसरी क्याल्कुलेट गर्ने भन्ने कुरामा we will go. So now commonly used statistics are frequency, mean, and standard deviation. We'll come to that later on. So have you opened your computer? So are you joining from computer or mobile? Have you opened the data set? So if you have, you can do the hands-on practices. Otherwise, I will do the analysis myself and you can see. Hello, any of you? Okay, reference ratio scale for efficacy of self-critical writing. Mukesh ji? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so can you please explain your question?
Yes, ma'am, I would like to conduct my research related to critical thinking or critical writing. So can I use that ratio scale?
Okay. So critical, so it depends on what type of tool you want to use. So if you make a list of questionnaire, for example, to identify, so first you need to define the construct. What do you mean by critical skill? And then if you formulate different statements for measuring that critical skill. So for example, what is critical skill? So what makes someone critical in writing? So statement 1, statement 2, if you formulate a statement like that and give it to students, yes, you can do quantitative analysis. Mukesh ji?
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. So now, if you have opened the data set, that's fine. If you haven't, now let's see how we can conduct this, how we can calculate mean, or standard deviation or range or something like that by using this Excel. So SPSS, some of you might not have access to, but Excel comes in computer by default. So we can also use Excel to calculate some statistics. Okay, can we proceed? So this data I have already said, if you have this data set, and please open the file and we can analyze together. So now, this is the data set. We have here gender, we have test score, we have percentage of score, and we want to analyze descriptive statistics like mean is the average, mode, the statistic item or the number that is repeated. So median, when we order the data from highest to lowest or lowest to highest, this is the central point. This basic concept you have. Now let's do the analysis. What type of the different types of descriptive statistics based on this data set. Now we can go to, after opening the Excel file, we can go to this data. In the right hand corner, we can see the tab data analysis. So in some of your computer, the data analysis might not be there.
In my computer, I see data validation.
Okay.
Text to, no, I don't see that.
Okay, so if you do not see that here, go to click on the file.
Okay.
File, and then option.
Just a
So
minute.
after clicking the option here, the second last point, you can see add-ins, right? Add-ins. So if you click on that, add-ins, then it leads us to another dialog box. It's taking a little bit of time.
Ma'am, could you please repeat? I have just opened the data that you have sent. So okay. Do you want me to open my Excel or the data you have sent? What do you want me to do?
Yeah, so you can open the data I have sent, then that will open in your Excel sheet.
Yes,
so,
okay.
Because if we calculate the same, if you use the same data, it will be easier. So we can see the value. So go to, have you opened the file yet?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, aru sabai janale follow garnu bhako cha, I can imagine. So file, so if your data analysis is not there, click on file, then last option, there is option. So click on that. And now go to add-ins. So click on add-ins. And in add-ins, you can see the manage here. So Excel add-ins. Now click on go. So now analysis tool pack. I have already checked it because mine is already there, data analysis. In your computer, it might be unchecked. So therefore check it and then click OK. So after you do that, you can see this data analysis tab on the right hand corner. Yes.
Okay. I couldn't follow you. Anyway, you can show me over there.
Okay. Okay. So I will send this instruction later on. And now let me repeat. Okay. I'll print this instruction and I will share it later on in my PowerPoint. So no worries. Now for the time being, let's do it. So now we want to identify the basic descriptive statistics we need to report in our paper. One is mean. Next, standard deviation. Next one is range, maximum, minimum. So mean, I think all of us know that. So when all the values are divided by number of observation, we get mean, right? There are 203 participants. And when we add up all these numbers and divide by 203, we will get the mean. So we do not need to do that manually. Now let's go to this data analysis tab. There is descriptive statistics. descriptive statistics, click OK, and then range that is already there. So this maybe we want to go for this one. Yes, now test score has already been highlighted here. And now here in columns, we need to click on column. So labels in the first row, this will show the label. For example, what is mean, what is standard deviation, this like that. And under output range, we need to click on new worksheet. So in Excel file, this one we call worksheet. When we click new worksheet, and this worksheet the output will come in separate worksheet. Okay, so new worksheet. And summary statistics we need to check in, because now we are interested in summary statistics. So summary statistics, what is the mean of this data set, what is the standard deviation of this data set, and what is maximum number that the student have achieved, minimum number. So this like that. So here other thing I think we don't need to check in here. Now then if we click OK, we can have the data set here in different sheets. Can you see it now here? Hello?
Yes, it's visible, ma'am.
Okay, so now the mean is now percent, test score. This was calculated in percentage. In this reading comprehension test, average performance of the students was 52%. That is the mean, right? So what do we mean by standard deviation? Any idea? Standard deviation. What is the deviation? So deviation refers to the difference of individual, difference of individual students' score from the mean. So now we know that mean is 52. Now let's go to the data set again. This student has got 63. So how deviated is it from the mean? The student got more, I think 11 or almost 12 points more than the mean. This is the dispersion. This student got 7 points more than the mean. This student got 3 points or 4 points less than the mean. So this is the deviation from the mean. And when we standardize this deviation, calculate difference for the each score, then calculate the square root of that, there is some formula. Then we get standard deviation. So what is the deviation? Whether the data are largely dispersed or not dispersed that much. If I can give you example, so all of us take students monthly test or final test, quarterly test, something like that. अब त्यो टेस्टमा if we give test from 50%, 50 full mark, अब त्यो डेटामा नम्बर स्टुडेन्टले कति पायो त? फुल मार्क 50 मा सबैजनाको स्कोर फर एक्जाम्पल इट रेन्ज बिट्विन 40 and 45, right? Or the data range from their score ranged from maybe 5 to 45. Which one is more dispersed, first set or second set?
Second one.
Yes, so that's the dispersion. You got the point. So when we standardize that dispersion, that's the deviation from the mean, we call that standard deviation. Now let's see the standard deviation here. Mean is 52 and standard deviation is 14. Can you see the data is the students' performance are the group of student homogeneous or heterogeneous here in terms of their performance?
It's heterogeneous. The
Yes,
difference.
heterogeneous, comparatively large standard deviation. So यति भयो भने ठिक्कको standard deviation भने चाहिँ there is no exact value, but seeing the mean and seeing the standard deviation, then we can imagine 52 means of 14% standard deviation छ भने चाहिँ यो चाहिँ 52 देखि तल 14% सम्म आउन सक्यो। त्यो भनेको lowest performance can be 38 and highest performance can be 66. भनेपछि यो चाहिँ के भयो, mean का हिसाबले हेर्दाखेरि पनि largely dispersed, and whether the data is dispersed or not, we can see here in maximum number and minimum number as well. Maximum students even got 94%, minimum students have got 19%, so the group is heterogeneous. So standard deviation is large. So these things, if we have data, when we collect this student performance or questionnaire, something like that, we can calculate, at least in my paper as well. And if you read any paper for that matter, you can find these values reported. Now let me see, let me show my paper here. So in each and every paper that reports descriptive statistics, they provide this information. So mean, what is the mean? Mean here refers to minimum. What was the minimum? What was maximum? What was mean? And what was standard deviation? So these four, usually mean and standard deviation only. In some cases, minimum and maximum are provided. So when we have data set, then we can take it to Excel and we can calculate these descriptive statistics. So we can also calculate the percentage, but mean will be more informative because it helps us to get meaning of the data set based on a single value. Okay, what is the average performance? It tells us. And what is the, whether the students are, whether the group of students have similar level of performance or different level of performance. So that type of thing we can get from this descriptive statistics, okay? So now let's repeat the same process. For example, for this appraisal confidence. So how confident the students are about their performance. This confidence, I used to do that. Still, I do that these days. So we guess how much score we will get in that paper. Sometimes we say that, okay, in this paper, I'll get 65%. So in this paper, maybe I'll get 80. Do you do calculation like that?
Sure.
Oh, अनि कतिको मिल्छ, धेरै जसो भने जति आउँछ कि 85 आउला भनेर ठाउँमा 45 आउने, अथवा यसमा त गरेकै थिइन 50 आउला भनेको 65 आउने. So how accurate you are in your prediction like that? Would you like to share, any of you?
Near, madam, near.
Near, okay. So then your appraisal confidence will be mostly accurate. So if we say something like मेरो एकदम राम्रो गरे यसमा 80 आउला भनेको ठाउँमा, if you usually get 60%, you are overconfident. Okay, so if you feel like 60 देखि 70 आउला भनेकोमा, if you just get, then if you get 80, then you are underconfident. You rate your performance lowly. So this appraisal confidence shows that how accurate you are about your own performance. अब त्यो त हामीलाई अहिले यहाँ छलफल गर्न आवश्यकता छैन, त्यही पनि some concept. So research has shown that people who have lower performance usually tend to rate themselves high, and the students who have high performance usually tend to rate them low. त्यस्तो खाले research छ. Now let's calculate descriptive statistics for this appraisal confidence. Let's see whether most of the students are overconfident, underconfident, something like that. Again, we'll go to descriptive statistics, click OK, and now this data set, appraisal confidence. in inference, let's put this one, and rest will be same level in the first row, output, new worksheet and summary statistics. Then click OK. Now let's see the statistics here. So mean 86%, and then standard deviation 8%. Now see, this data is not much dispersed in terms of confidence rating. The students are not that much dispersed. Maximum 96%, minimum 46%. They said maximum 96%, less dispersed than the earlier one. Earlier हाम्रो deviation कति थियो 14 थियो, अहिले यहाँ कति भयो deviation? So maybe 6 अहिले 8 भयो. Mean 86 हुँदाखेरि standard deviation 8 हुनु भनेको this data set is comparatively less dispersed than the earlier one. Okay, so so this is about descriptive statistics here in Excel. Then if you have SPSS, then some of you, if you have, then this SPSS is again very easy. Now let me show. Can I drag this? Okay, so here we can go to analyze, and then here we can see descriptive statistics. Okay, here descriptive statistics. Okay, descriptive statistics. Suppose we want to find out the descriptive statistics for a student score in not in percent, just a score, which keep it to other side. We go here, we need mean, it has been checked, we need a standard deviation, we need minimum, we need maximum. Okay, let's say if we continue and click OK, it gives us the value. So it's taking a little bit of time to process. Okay, so the value will again be same, but here also you can analyze in that way. Just I wanted to say that. So this is all about descriptive statistics. Do you have any questions so far?
Madam, could you explain these two terms, KURTOSS?
Oh yeah, we are coming to that point later on under normal distribution. Thank you so much. We'll come to that.
And do we have the formulas for standard deviation, median, mode as well?
Yeah, median, sorry, for median, we don't need any formula. This is the most repeated number.
Oh.
Okay, then mode is the most repeated number. So if we arrange these values, for example, if we sort these values, let's say, let's sort this row, okay. And then when we see what is mode, let's go home. And then where is sorting? Okay, sort smallest to largest. Then yes, expand the entire selection. And when we sort this, now you can see the repeated number. So we can find out the frequency, the one which is most repeated. Here 47 seems to be the 50 maybe. So the number which is mostly repeated is the mode. There is an विद्यार्थीले 50 मा 45 ल्याछन् भने that would be mode. And then when we arrange the number from lowest to highest like this, 19 lowest, and the highest is 94, the median line will be the midpoint number. Here we have 203 participants. 203 को midpoint भनेको कति हुन्छ? 101. 101 र 2 को हामीले एभरेज निकालेर 2 ले भाग गर्यौं भने that will be the median. 101 and 102. त्यो median will be the middle point. अब odd number छ भने चाहिँ yes 201 2, yeah, Yeah, this will be the median because we have odd number data set. जस्तै हामीसँग 9 जना विद्यार्थी छन् भने 5औं नम्बर चाहिँ median हुन्छ when we order the data set in lowest to highest or highest to lowest. Did I answer your question?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Okay. So that is the median, middle point. तर हाम्रो data set चाहिँ even number छ भने जस्तै 8 जना छ भने त्यो चाहिँ कति गर्नु पर्यो 3टा माथि 3टा तल 4 र 5 को average निकालेपछि that will be the median. That's the formula. For mode, we don't need any formula. That will be the most repeated number. For mean, the formula is all the values are added up, then we divide by number of values. So that's the formula. Okay. So now, we calculated percent. So we calculate, then range. Okay, range is the difference between maximum and minimum number. So if we report the maximum and minimum number themselves, we do not need to repeat the range. We do not need to report the range. So in my paper, I have provided minimum and maximum. यो दुईटा नम्बर दिएपछि more informative हुन्छ. त्यसले गर्दा range दिइरहनु परेन. यो दुईटा नम्बर दिएन भने चाहिँ we can give the range. Range is the difference between highest number and lowest number. This also shows that how the data is dispersed. If the range is high, we know that the data is more dispersed. त्यसको interpretation के हो त? The performance of students is not same, and the group of students in that very particular characteristics is, the students is heterogeneous in terms of that particular characteristics we are measuring. Okay, so standard deviation, I already explained that. Now,
Sorry, could you once show us the formula of standard deviation?
Okay, so we do not need to calculate it manually, but the formula will be this. So summation here refers to total. X here refers to individual students score. Okay, now if we go here, so this individual score is X. For example, students with ID 66 got 19.44. This is the X. So X, and then minus X bar. X bar refers to mean. So two student ko score mean bata kati farak cha. That is the X minus X bar. This is square. N refers to number of sample. How many students do we have in the sample? In this case, we have 203 students. That is the N here, N minus 1. Then when we check the square root of that, it will be standard deviation. So we do not need to do it manually. In SPSS, it will give us the value in a click, and the same we can get in SPSS as well. But if we want to do it manually, this is the process. Summation of mean and mean bar. When we go there, यहाँ एउटा हामीले कोलन थप्यौं भने जस्तै यहाँ एउटा कोलन थपेर insert गरेर अब यहाँ चाहिँ यो स्टुडेन्ट को टेस्ट हो यहाँ सबैको हामीले मीन ल्याएर राख्न सक्यो टेस्ट स्कोर को मीन so what is the mean 52 so now just take it to 2 decimal points so 52 is mean now we can place it 50 sorry mean here अब यो सबैबाट मीन यहाँदेखि तलसम्म सबैमा मीन घटाएर जस्तै अब यहाँसम्म मात्रै गरौँ ओके अब यसलाई यहाँ अर्को कोलम हामीले राख्यौं भने then here x minus x bar means x is student's score minus x bar is mean so like this we'll get mean this is मीन भन्दा कम भयो यो नम्बर यसरी सबैको निकालिन्छ अनि निकालिसकेपछि वी एड दैट अप त्यो एड गर्यो भने माइनस हुन्छ त्यही भएर यो कोही मीन भन्दा कम हुन्छ कोही बढी हुन्छ त्यसको यतिकै एड अप गर्यो भने इट विल बी माइनस I mean the output will be 0. That's why we need to square it. First we need to square it. And square गरिसकेपछि त्यसको standard deviation निकाल्यो भने चाहिँ अनि यो भ्यालु आउँछ but we do not do it. Usually we don't need to do it manually. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much. So this is descriptive statistics. So yes. Yes, I have measured, I have reported this measure of central tendency and dispersion in my data set that is minimum, maximum, mean and standard deviation. Then skewness and kurtosis will come to that later on. अनि तपाईहरुले अरु धेरै statistical paper पढ्नुभयो भने पनि at least mean and standard deviation all of them report. So please check some of the paper in your field and identify what statistics have they reported. Now, this is all about so descriptive statistics, mean, mode, median, range, and standard deviation. Now we see the normal distribution. So next thing we're talking about is normal distribution. So what does it mean? Maybe some of you might have heard this bell-shaped curve. This means when we collect data from the large sample, it says that the data is usually normally distributed. That means most of the values will be around the mean. जस्तै हाम्रो 52 mean हो भने there will be many students which score around the mean 52, 50, 51, 45 or 46 somewhere. So there will be very few students who will score very low. And there will be very few students who will score very high. This right hand tail shows high score, left hand tail shows low score, and this bell shape shows that most of the students will be around the mean. Not only mean, your student will score matre bhayena. If we produce graph of our income or our use of other devices, something like that. So in ideal situation, in ideal world, kunai pani value chahi yalai plot garyo bhane it seems like most of them will be around the mean. So that is normal distribution. So the data here, we don't have much time to explain. In ideal world, in this normal distribution, 68.26% of the data will be within one standard deviation. By one standard deviation, we mean this one. Jati hamro standard deviation ko value cha, mean bata त्यसकै one standard deviation ko वरिपरि भनेको 86 plus 8 or 86 minus 8. That is one standard deviation plus minus the values. 68% of the values will be there. So two standard deviation, 95% value. What do we mean by two standard deviation? 8 plus 8, 16. So 16, 86 minus 16, 86 plus 16.
16, the number 16 different from the mean.
Yes, 16 number difference, difference from the mean. Two standard deviation. One standard deviation means the standard deviation value we have got here. When we multiply it by 2, so what we get? 16 point something. So two standard deviation means 16 point something below the mean and 16 point something above the mean.
9 to 16. Is it, madam? 9 to 16 number difference from the mean is 2.
Yes.
2 standard deviation.
Yes, two standard deviation. So within that two standard deviation, we will have 95% of the values, and 3 standard deviation, 99% of the values, and 4 standard deviation, 99. So this is called normal distribution, ideal bell-shaped curved. So mirror image भन्छ यसलाई. यो median line हामीले हेर्यौं भने यताको र यताको exactly same. But in real life, we may not get perfect normal distribution like that, so our data might be skewed. धेरै मान्छेले एभरेज भन्दा कम ल्याएको अथवा धेरै मान्छेले एभरेज भन्दा बढी ल्याएको हुन्छ कि हुँदैन? हो, त्यस्तो खाले भयो भने if we plot the data, we will get figure like this. Either the figure is skewed to the left, भनेको mean भन्दा there are many people who have scored lower than mean, or right skewed, people who have scored higher than mean. If the test paper is very easy, we can get distribution like this. Mean banda sapal dherai ल्याक. Or if sometimes it's particularly difficult, so performance will be lower than that. Whether the data is left skewed, sorry, positively skewed, your positive plus kurtosis ko number, skewness ko number isma plus आउँछ, plus भनेको many students have received score lower than mean. यसलाई plus किन भनेको तपाईले यहाँ हेर्यो भने your x minus x bar, we don't have much time, let's not go to that. So let me tell you that whether the data sometime can be left skewed, sometime can be right skewed. There will not be mirror images such. This happens when many students score lower than mean, and this happens when many students score higher than mean. Are you getting me up to this point?
Sorry, ma'am, sorry.
You couldn't get it?
It's a little bit harder for us.
Okay. अब हाम्रो यहाँ मलाई फेरि सजिलै भन्न दिनुस् है त. यो स्क्यूनेस भनेको के हो भने हामीले अब मैले अगाडि भने आइडियल वर्ल्डमा चाहिँ धेरै मान्छे मिनको वरिपरि नै हुन्छन्. यस्तै डेटा सेट यस्तै कर्भ आउँछ हामीले प्लट गर्यौं भने. Okay, let me show you the curve, then maybe you will understand. So let's go to this analyze descriptive, okay, frequencies, score, statistics, normal curve, okay. Okay. Histogram show normal curve. Okay. If we go do this, so it will take a little bit of time. Okay. Yes. Can we see the plot here?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Oh,
We see.
यो चाहिँ हो perfectly normal छैन नि हैन. यतातिर यो यहाँ छ, यता भन्दा धेरै ल्याउने यो ठ्याक्क नर्मल अलिकति धेरै त मिरर इमेज जस्तै छ, यसैको वरिपरि छन्. तर पनि मिन भन्दा धेरै ल्याउनेको संख्या पनि धेरै नै छ. This is not perfectly normal. Now if we do similar for another other body skewness भएको data set हेर्नु भने यो monitoring comprehension हेर्नु है त ल. Yes, see, this is a bit left skewed. अलिकति mean भन्दा थोरै ल्याउनेको संख्या अलि बढी छ. So like this. Did you get my point?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
कहिले काहीँ यो लाइन चाहिँ यतातिर यहाँनिर यतापट्टि माथि भएको हुन सक्छ, कहिले काहीँ यो लाइन यतातिर भएको हुन सक्छ कि यसको point चाहिँ. So that is called skewness. If many scores are lower than mean, and then this point will become toward this side, higher than mean भयो भने this point will go toward this side. That we call skewness. Okay. Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, so that is skewness. Whether this shows that whether many students are performing lower the mean or higher the mean, or for any other values, whether the values are clustered, more clustered, lower the mean or higher the mean, that is called skewness. Okay, so now next one is kurtosis. This kurtosis here refers to pointedness. अब त्यही भ्यालुमा के हुन्छ सबैले 50-50 अब हामीले so we gave a test for 50 score अनि सबैजना स्टुडेन्टले 45 46 47 मात्रै ल्यायो भने there will not be larger distribution, so the safe will be pointy. हाई पोइन्टमा भएको जति डेटा यही मात्रै जाने भो अरुतिर नजाने भो, that is called pointy. So kurtosis refers to pointiness, whether the value are clustered around one or two values or they are spread over. And then so we took a test for 50 marks. Some students got 1, some 2, some 3, some 4, some 5, some 45. त्यसरी सबै स्कोर भित्र dispersed, सबै नम्बर भित्र स्कोर dispersed भएको छ भने we will have flat curve like this. So whether the distribution is flat or whether the distribution is very pointy, that is called kurtosis. सबैजनाले एकै खालको नम्बर ल्याइरहेछन् भने it will be pointy. So if the values are largely dispersed from lowest point to highest point, and the distribution will be flat. Did you get my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, त्यसलाई भन्छ kurtosis. Okay, so now let's go to the point again. Normal distribution, it says that in normal distribution, in this case, the skewness will be 0, kurtosis will be 0. No skewness, no kurtosis. Perfect normal distribution. This is just in ideal world. But when we get the data from real worlds, then we will have either data to some extent skewed or some crooked. So therefore, in social science, when skewness and kurtosis is within plus minus 1, त्यो भ्यालु अब हामीले भ्यालु हेर्छौं पछि यो प्लस माइनस 1 भित्र रेन्जमा छ भने either +1 or -1, the data is considered to be normal. अझै यो चाहिँ strict rule. Fakiti 2014 says that in a bit relaxed rule, ±3 is also accepted. Did you get my point? Okay, I guess so. Now let's see the value. Usually, if skewness and kurtosis values are within ±1, then we say that our data set is normally distributed. Now let's see the values here. Skewness and kurtosis. So what is this? Is this scale appraisal confidence normally distributed or not?
Normally.
Yes, somehow if we take a bit relaxed rule, ±3 को rule हेर्यौं भने it's normally distributed. तर अलिकति kurtosis त 2 छ नि, it's a bit data is a bit pointy. So not perfectly normally distributed. Now let's see.
Skewness is normally distributed.
Skewness is also value is not 0. एकदम perfectly normal हो भने this value should be 0.
Oh, good.
This value should also be 0. But here we do not have 0, so no perfect normal distribution, but still a bit relaxed rule. Fakiti 2014 says that in social science, ±3 can also be accepted. Aru कसैले चाहिँ ±1 can be accepted. भन्छ अझल थुप्रै bootstrapping के भन्ने छ, यो normal नभए पनि हुन्छ भन्ने पनि के कुराहरु छ, but at least we need to know what is it. And this data is a bit skewed and a bit chaotic. Now let's see test score को हामीले हेर्यौं भने, so this is within ±1. See here, almost perfectly distributed, right?
Yes.
Normally distributed. So 0.08, 0.07 mostly normally distributed. So that is normal distribution. So usually to conduct parametric test अथवा inference like correlation, ANOVA or थुप्रै टेस्टहरु t test गर्नलाई यो भ्यालु चाहिँ हामीले डेटा सेटमा हेर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ whether data is normally distributed. For that we need to examine kurtosis and skewness. Okay, so we have almost come to the end, sir. हामी अलिकति एकछिन टाइम लिन सक्छौं कि a little bit correlation I want to tell.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so I won't take much time. So this took a little bit of time to explain. So that is normal distribution. Now, so skewness and kurtosis, in my paper also I have reported that skewness and kurtosis. Now, this is within normal distribution, this is normal distribution, this is normal distribution. So appraisal confidence was not normally distributed. That's why I didn't include, according to a strict rule, that's why I didn't include it in correlational analysis and regression analysis. So normal distribution पनि हामीले हेर्नुपर्छ कुनै कुनै पेपरमा चाहिँ we can see they will have reported, अरुमा नभन्ने भए पनि somewhere in a statement in methodology or somewhere they will write one sentence saying that the data was generally normally distributed. They will use the term generally. त्यहीबाट हामीले के बुझ्नुपर्छ भने that might have been a bit skewed and that might have been a bit chaotic, but still that was within acceptable range. So now we will go to correlational analysis. Correlational research, I think all of you know that it examines the relation between two variables. For example, what is the relationship between students' self-efficacy, so their perception of their own capabilities, and their test score, for example. So what is the correlation between their confidence rating and their test score? So that type of relation between two variables, and this relation, two variables can be positively related. That means if one goes high, other goes high. For example, if my perception of self-efficacy is high, and if my score is also high, then self-efficacy and test score positively related. Negatively related, so test score, my self-efficacy high, test score low. त्यसमा चाहिँ नमिल्ला, जस्तै my time spent on social media and my score, for example. If I spend more time in social media, maybe if I receive less, I don't know. So just as a hypothetical example, so that is negatively related and not related at all. How much time I spend in social media has nothing to do with my test score. That is not related at all. So correlation can be of three types. So values range from +1 to -1. So between that, perfect correlation is 1, perfect negative, perfect positive, and other values will be between that. Okay. So now here we need to know this one, that is the interpretation. Interpretation गर्दाखेरि के गर्नु पर्यो भने, how do we interpret the value? So mean ko agadi hamle bhanihalyau, we know whether the mean is high, we know students are performing well, mean is low, students are performing low. If standard deviation is high, we know that the students are very different in terms of their abilities. If standard deviation is low, we say that they are similar in there. That's the interpretation. Now here, we need to interpret value of correlation as well. So पछि हामीले यही भ्यालु पाउँछौं. अब यो भ्यालुलाई कसरी बुझ्ने त? So if our correlational value is 1.1 plus minus, so small effect, यो चाहिँ धेरै related छैन भन्ने बुझिन्छ. If it is plus minus 3 to 0.5, we call it medium related, so moderate level of relation. If it is high per above, we say that they are largely correlated. Are you following me?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Okay, so then R square, यो R2 जस्तो देखियो, R square भनिन्छ. यो त्यो आको correlation को भ्यालुलाई if we calculate I mean, if we multiply the value by same value, if we take it square form, then we can interpret it in terms of percentage. For example, 5 by 0.5 by correlation, 0.5 into 0.5 will be 0.25, right? Then we can say that there was 25% relation between two variables. So we can interpret in that. If we square the correlational value, then we can interpret it in terms of percentage. Okay. Now, assumption for correlational analysis, then it says that the data should be interval. We have already discussed, right? And the data should be normally distributed. So two things are required, and we have already ascertained that in our data set. Now, and अर्को एउटा कुरा पनि बुझ्नु पर्ने के छ भने correlational analysis मा, before we do that, now let's calculate it. We don't have much time. So analyze. So here we have correlate. We have bivariate because we have two variables. Now let's say the correlation between student test score and their, let's say, self-efficacy. How capable do they think they are? So it's Pearson correlation because our data set is normally distributed and we have it in interval. We have interval data set. So other options, mean and standard deviation, we have already examined. We don't need it. Okay, now let's see, just correlation. Okay. Yes. So can you see the value here, correlation?
Yes.
Yes. So now here, what is the correlation? 0.22, right? So your table ko आधा मात्रै यता र यताको same mirror image हुन्छ, त्यसले गर्दा half of the table will only be relevant for us. So correlation between percent of comprehension and percent of comprehension, it is not necessary. That will be always 1 because the relation between same variable. अब यो हामीले हेर्न खोजेको के हो, the relation between comprehension, reading comprehension and self-efficacy. So what is the correlation? 0.22. Then if we go to this value earlier, the interpretation, so what does it mean? Where does it lie? Small effect, medium effect, or large effect?
Small.
Yes, it's less than 3. That's why small effect. Yes, small effect.
Small
Now we
effect,
need
yeah.
one more information for that. That is, you can see this value as well. Do you see SIG, S-I-G here?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this refers to significance, whether the value is significant or not. And now this value is significant on 001. So what does it mean? Now let's come to this. So it means if the p-value, even if this p is not written here, the significance is reported by letter p. So like p-value भन्छौँ हामी. Now let's see what's the p-value here. What does that mean? If p-value is 0.05, the correlation is significant within 95% confidence interval. We can be shortened, 95% shorten that. These two things are correlated. Are you following me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. If the
Yes.
p-value is 0.01, the correlation, we can be shortened that. We can be confident that this is 99% confidence level. Okay. This is more significant. Okay. And then if it is 001, then it is even more than 95% confidence. Now in SPSS, if that is significant in 95%, एउटा asterisk देखिन्छ हामीले त्यो value को side मा. If it is 0.1%, we see 2 asterisks. And if it is 0.01, we can see 3 asterisks. Now let's see here the data. Can you see 2 asterisks here?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, अनि यो bottom मा यसले के भनेको छ? correlation is
Correlation
significant at
at
0.01 level. So then
tell.
we can be 99% certain that these two variables, self-efficacy and reading test score, are positively correlated. Positively correlated. अब इसको R square value हामीले निकाल्ने भनेको, if we multiply 0.2 into 2 by 0.224 by 224, we can find something like, let's say, 0.224. 224. अब यो दुईटालाई हामीले मल्टिप्लाई गर्यौं भने के हुन्छ, we will get R square. अघि मैले भनेको थिएँ R square, and this R square भनेको के हो भने जस्तै 0.5%, 0.5 भनेको यसलाई 100 ले मल्टिप्लाई गर्यो भने 5%. Self efficacy ले, now how can we interpret it? How can we interpret the result? Self efficacy can explain 5% of variance in reading comprehension. त्यति धेरै होइन. Okay. So now we can calculate this correlation in Excel as well. Excel मा पनि हामी यसलाई क्याल्कुलेट गर्न सक्छौं. We will go to data analysis, and there we can see correlation. And okay, now we need to select two values for correlation. So let's say test score. यो दुईटा हामीलाई चाहिएको थिएन अहिले. So let me remove this. They are not necessary. Let's go to analysis, correlate. Okay. Then 2, appraisal confidence and comprehension monitoring. That's fine. And let's correlate. Okay. Oh, maybe there was something wrong. Yes, yes, you can explore it later on. You can go, you need to select two variables, and here from the same data set, we can calculate correlation as well. So this is significance level. Okay. So now I have also reported correlation in my paper. So one of the research questions was about whether now you can see here. Can you see the table?
Yes, ma'am.
Comprehension monitoring and reading. This is, I mean, little relation, not much. They are, if we again interpret the value, we go here, small effect. Little, not much related. They have a small effect in all these cases. So 0.25, 0.35, this is medium effect. 0.5, this is large effect. So reading self-efficacy and comprehension monitoring, they are highly related. Reading self-efficacy and appraisal confidence, low effects, and comprehension and reading performance and comprehension monitoring, low effect, medium effect, like that. Okay, and R square, when you see R square also, I have reported this percent, 12% of variance is explained like that. Please take time to read this paper and please explore the data on your own. So, these are, so for your reference, if you want to know more about these statistics, one is very nice book, Discovering Statistics using SPSS. It provides us concept of statistics, formulas, everything, as well as how to use that, how to analyze data by using that statistics in SPSS. So this book is useful, and this is by Ek Fakiti. This was my supervisor in University of Sydney. So this book is also very useful, experimental research method in language education. So if you are more interested, you can consult this book. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. If you could please just stop sharing, then I'll be able to see everyone. Thank you very much. The references are quite useful. I would like to just add the one, which is an old one, and being an old man, I think I should mention this because I still find this very useful. It's called the Statistics for the Teacher,
Okay.
and by Macintosh. And I think it's a simply written, and I think these books are also in the same category, written for the average teachers in mind. So even if you have no idea or not, you know nothing about statistics, this book is quite illustrated in the way that Madhuji did today, a step process of doing statistics in your everyday lives. So it's called Statistics for the Teacher, and it's an old book, as I just mentioned, but it has it has had several editions. So I'm sure there will be new editions in the market as well. Statistics for the Teacher, and that is in line with the
Excuse
three
me, sir.
references suggested by Madhuji. Say again.
Is it available in PDF form also, this book?
You have to explore. Actually, there should be a copy in the departmental library at Kirtipur, but I'm not sure. But I'm sure you will be able to find it on the net.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So because it's old publication, it shouldn't be that expensive. And as I mentioned, remember it's a stepwise process. Learning statistics is a hands-on process and a step-by-step process. And that's what Madhuji did today. I got refreshed, by the way. I used to do these things. I mean, I still do, but at a limited scale. So many of the ideas that I was very vague about now cleared. So thank you, Madhuji, for making the statistics in research quite clear. Now, one thing I would like to request you all is that at this point of time, it seems quite clear. It seems okay. But once after a few days, things become hazy. So it will help if you start using it, using the formula, using the steps for your own research. And then you will have some real questions. And what we are going to do is share the slides with you. The slides will be uploaded, so you can go back and refresh yourself again. So yeah, thank you, Madhuji, and thank you, colleagues, and thank you all for joining. And the next, I'm reminding you, next one is equally important, and the presenter is waving his hand. The qualitative analysis of data, of writing analysis. Qualitative. Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah.
By the way, I have that book PDF. If someone wants it, I have a copy of that book. Statistics.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, please.
You can.
Give
anyone would like to get a copy, please email me. I can attach the PDF.
Right. Or please send it to Bikashji, and Bikashji will upload.
I will do that right away. Bikashji, we have a reason to meet right after this meeting. I don't know. Are we going to use this same link, Bikash sir? Can we?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, I will send you the PDF of that book, and yes, that is as Ram sir said, yes, rightly.
Yeah. So the slides will be uploaded. The book will be uploaded, and again, as I said, apply them, and then you will find its usefulness. Very useful session today. Thank you, Madhuji. Thank you so much. We are really indebted to you. Thank you. And yeah, have a good Saturday, everyone, and good weekend.
So in the meantime, if you have any questions, and when you start want to do quantitative analysis and any confusion, and you can write to me anytime. I'll be more than happy to help you if I can be of any help.
Yeah, there you go. Of course, yes. And probably you don't have to work very hard to find out Madhu ma'am's email, right? Say you can channelize the question through the workshop, or you can contact her directly, no problem. Say, yeah, thank you, everyone. And I see Naraz there as well. So, yeah. So they have a
Thank you, everybody.
good weekend, and I will see you next time.
Definitely, yes, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. So
Bye-bye,
another
everyone.
insightful session. Thank you, ma'am. We are really blessed to have wonderful presenter like you. I think I am the one to have more questions on it. I'm still learning in that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So
Yes,
that
yeah.
is, I think,
Thank you so much.
exaggeration.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Actually,
No,
I was,
he's right. He's right. Yes, yeah.
very
No,
much grateful to
statistics
you.
is a tricky thing. It is a tricky thing, and you have to be in it in order to understand it. You have to follow the data. You have to follow the numbers. You have to follow the
So
steps.
I was lucky to have very good supervisor in my master as well as in PhD. So who are very kind of expert in statistics. So then a little bit of them I could.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much.
And
Thank
the book
you.
that you
Okay.
will get from Vikas sir, I will be sending it to Vikas. Yeah, you will be sending it to
I will also be sharing that book by Andy Field. So every time when you have any confusion, so this I think this book Ramasys sir has said, I will go through that. Then Andy Field's book I will share.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Thank you.
Have a great Saturday, everybody. Time for me to go for hiking.
Because you will notify everyone when the book and the slides are uploaded. Thank you.
Yes,
Okay,
yes. Okay, bye-bye, everyone.
All right, except I and you, because I'm sending you the book now, and then you can share that to all participants, everybody. And that book, I also found it very, very handy book actually. So yeah, all right. So thank you, friends. Oh, Dr. Astik साहब के छ खबर? तपाईलाई देख्न गाह्रो भयो, फोटो मात्रै देखिया छु. दिनेश जी विदा हुनुभयो. हेलो रोहित सर पनि हुनुहुँदो रहेछ. ल मुकेश सर, अल लभली मिटिङ यु अल. है त हामी चाहिँ अब यो किताब पठाइदिहाल्छु है विकास सर, म तपाईलाई पहिला.
Yes, sir.
तपाईको इमेलमा because@nelta.org मा पठाइदियो कि अर्को कुनै छ सर? प्रोग्राम कोमा पठाइदियो?
प्रोग्राम कोमा पठाउनु सर, प्रोग्राम को.
और तपाईको अर्को पर्सनल इमेल छ भने दिनुस् न, so that we can have that email also.
मेरो अर्को इमेल पनि छ. म एउटा चाहिँ pcnelta@gmail.com पनि चलाउँछु. नेल्टाको अफिसियल इमेल. एउटा चाहिँ प्रोग्राम चलाउँछु. त्यस पछाडी मेरो आफ्नो पर्सनल जीमेल पनि छ, rimalbdynamic@
RIMAL
B dynamic
B मात्रै हो, just one letter B.
विकासको B, rimalb
dynamic. All right,
dynamic @gmail.com.
All right, हुन्छ सर. Statistics for the teachers by this one.
हुन्छ.
मैले पठाएँ सर तपाईलाई.
ए हस्.
अब आज हाइकिङ जाने हो. अब ल को जाने भन्नुस् है.
अस्ति जाने भनेर कस्तो मजाको प्लान गरेको थियो, मिटिङ पर्यो है. कतिखेर निस्किने?
हो निस्किहाल्ने, तपाईसँग एकछिन कुरा गरेर अनि निस्किने. तपाईँ अफिसमा हुनुहुन्छ?
म अफिसमा छु. म चाहिँ आज चाहिँ 12 बजेसम्म रहन्छु अफिसमा. अलिक बिजी नै छु.
तपाईलाई आइसक्यो होला मेरो उ चाहिँ हैन, मेसेज आइसक्यो. साथीहरु के छ, कोही बोल्दा नि बोल्नु भएको छैन? उहाँ साथीहरु हुनुहुँदो रहेछ त. हुन त गुणराज सर पनि हुनुहुँदो रहेछ यहाँ.
साथीहरु चाहिँ जोइन गरेर.
काशी सर नमस्कार.
नमस्कार सर, के छ?
सरहरु सबैलाई नमस्कार. हैन ठीक छ कि सर, यो हाम्रो यो कार्यक्रम अर्को एउटा कार्यक्रम छ यहाँ, फिजिकल फेस टु फेस कार्यक्रममा जाँदै छौं कि सर हामीहरु.
हजुर
अनि-
तपाईँ काठमाडौँ आउनु भएको छैन नि
म अहिले आएको छैन सर काठमाडौँ
ए आउनु भएपछि भेट्न पर्छ
अँ,
हिमाल
sure,
सर
sir.
हुनुहुन्छ तपाईँ
हजुर
हिमाल सर आस्तिक सर त के अरे यो गरेर जोइन गरेर हिँड्नु भएछ
सर हाम्रो यो पछाडि कुनै मिटिङ त छैन नि विकास
छैन सर अब चाहिँ विकासजीको र
छैन,
मेरो
सर, छैन।
अर्को हप्ताको उसको लागि अलिकति प्लान गर्न भनेर बसेको छ
ए अर्को हप्ता सरको सेसन हो सरलाई बेस्ट विशेष
अर्को हप्ता होइन होला नि अर्को महिना
अर्को महिना
अर्को महिना मतलब चरण हजुर
हजुर अर्को चरण हजुर सर, हुन्छ।
नेक्स्ट एपिसोड
हस्
उम्,
हस् सर,
हुन्छ,
हस्, हस्।
अर्को त गजब हुन्छ नि गुरुराज सर आउनु होला किन क्वालिटेटिभ भनेको त अल पार्टिसिपेटरी हो मोर अफ द्याट
होइन म छोड्दिनँ सर मैले यो क्वान्टिटेटिभ पनि आज अलिअलि भित्र छिर्दा मलाई इन्ट्रेस्ट लागिरहेछ क्वालिटेटिभ त अब हाम्रो मेन जो नै भइहाल्यो सर
होइन क्वालिटेटिभ आफ्नो लागि हो क्वान्टिटेटिभ चाहिँ तपाईँको त्यो भनेको चाहिँ अब सबैलाई चाहिने चिज हो नि सर क्वान्टिटेटिभ रिसर्च भएन भने अहिले यो कोभिडको कसरी उपचार हुन्थ्यो चाहियो नि त्यो पनि चाहिन्छ नि सर के हुन्छ कति बाँचे कति मरे गनेन भने त अनि त्यहाँबाट उस्तै क्रिएटिभ राइटिङ भनेर त कहाँबाट चाहिँ उपचार कहाँ हुन्छ त नि हस्पिटल क्वान्टिटेटिभ पनि चाहिन्छ नि सर लाइफ त क्वान्टिटेटिभ छ नि गर्नै पर्यो नि सर परिवारमा कतिजना मान्छे छन् त्यही अनुसारले सपिङ गर्यो भने न भर बेलुका भात खाने हो होइन सर कुरा खाएर के हुन्छ एनिवे लभली गुरुराज सर है त हस् सर विल चेक ब्याक लेटर रोहित मण्डल सर के छ खबर हिमाल सर पनि पुष्प सर तपाईहरु हुनुहुन्छ
हुनुहुन्न कि जस्तो लाग्यो उहाँहरु है पुष्पा
ठिकै छ त्यसो भए हामी बसौँ हामी दुईजना बसौँ उहाँहरुले चाहिँ
हुन्छ
उहाँहरु हुनुहुन्न भने त हुनुहुन्न अब त्यसो भए तपाईले
उहाँहरुलाई म्यानेज उहाँहरुलाई चाहिँ रिमुभ गर्यो भने अर्कोचोटी इन्ट्री गर्न
यसो गरौँ हामी बन्द गरौँ अनि फेरि इन्ट्री गरौँ बन्द गरौँ फेरि इन्ट्री गरौँ हुन्छ यसैमा
ल